Hello everyone, you're welcome to EduTrack Hub channel. Here we discuss coding, we discuss math and science subjects. We just make sure we get all the tools we need to channel our creativity. Today we are going to be looking at how to create a Pong game in Scratch. How will the Pong game go? So the Pong game is going to consist of a paddle that goes back and forth and a ball that bounces off it. Now, as many times as the paddle can catch the ball, is going to get an increase in its point. If the ball touches the ground, it's going to lose a life, and eventually, if enough lives are lost, the game is going to end. So let's get into it. Now, our Scratch will come with a default. You see your sprites, which is a cat here. As you know, the sprites are the characters, and in this case, we need a paddle and a ball. So we'll just delete this one, and we are going to go to get some sprites. Now, to get some sprite, we need to come here, choose a sprite, we choose one. Now we need our paddle. We can search for it here, good, we have it. And we need our ball sprites too. Now let's search for that and get it. Very good. Now we have our two sprites waiting for us. Of course, we don't want a blank space. You could have a blank space as your backdrop, but in this case, we want something more solid. Let's get a wall here. Good. So we have a wall. So we can place our paddle over here, just down here, and we have our ball. But I don't want the paddle to be so short. So let's try to get it longer and the ball to make it smaller. So to do that, we're going to go to costumes. Right, we click on it and we can reduce the size to what we need. Good. We like this. Now we will have to take it back to the center. Very good. We have that. Now let's do the same for the paddle. Now I want to make the paddle longer. So we just stretch that out a bit and put it back to the center. Very good. Now it seems like we can also make it more, we can make it bolder. So what we can do is we can make this black, right? So that we can really see what's going on. Good. Now to even make it more bolder, we can increase the outline. So so what can we do here? We can leave it this way, right? Or however way you would want it. Now, in order to do this, okay, I want to make that longer. All right, put that back in the center. Very good. Okay, so our backdrop, we need like a solid ground color for our backdrop. This is important, and you're going to see why. First of all, we can remove this backdrop. We can delete it. We don't need it. Good. Now, we're going to give it a solid backdrop here. So we'll just draw a rectangle over here, just down below. Good. Now we have to change the color. We can give it we can make it, we don't want the color that's like what's up there, so we can have this. Good. Very good. Now we can now go back to our code. We can also take this paddle a bit upward. So let's take it a bit upward here. All right. Okay, good, good. Now we have to do the coding. Now we want our paddle to go left and right to catch the ball. To do that, we go to our events and we get, because you see, it's going to go left when we click the left arrow. So when left arrow is clicked, motion, what does it do? It goes left. Now, how do you go left? You change X. Remember your X coordinates is responsible for left and right movement. So we can change this to -10. Negative for left, positive for right. Do the same, similar thing to make it go right. The right arrow, change X. But in this case, it's going to be a positive. So we can see here that our paddle is moving well. Very good. Now we can also do something, right? We can make sure that when the green flag is clicked, it goes to the center. So we just go to motion and bring out our go-to. Very good. Now I can just put this at 0, right? The center of it. So it's going to retain the vertical distance, but that center. Good. So very good. Very good. Now let's code our ball. Now the ball is where most of the work is going to be at, because you see we want our ball to be able to bounce off. So what do? We are going to begin the event with when green flag is clicked. Now when green flag is clicked, what do we want? We want we are going to start like this. When green flag is clicked, our ball is going to come from somewhere and anywhere around this region, right, down towards the paddle immediately, right? So in order to do that, we are going to use our go to X and Y in motion. So we bring that in. We can come over here, and now it's going to be a random position anywhere along a particular region. So let's get the region. So from here down, right, to up there. So in order to do that, we have to bring our random operator, pick random. Good. So it's going to pick random between the two sides, which is negative 220 and to positive 220. Good. Now for the Y also, it's going to pick random between this position we have here, which we see to be 18, and this position we have here. Let's get that position, which is going to be 162. Now, when green flag is clicked, it goes to that position. Now it starts to point towards the paddle. So to do that, we use our direct our motion points towards the paddle. So every time we click on the green flag, what happens? It goes down. But of course, it's just pointing towards the paddle, right? It's not yet moving. So we want it to move. Now to make it move, we are going to use our move 10 steps, right? We can start with that. And you see, it's just going to move once, right? So, but what we need to do is to put it in a forever loop, right? Make it happen forever. So when we do that, we are going to see it going down. Good, very good, very good. Now, we want that when it touches the paddle, it bounces off, right? So what do we do about that? We are going to come here to our control and say, if touching paddle, we give it a condition. Now, touching is a sensing block. So we go to our sensing and we say if touching paddle, we bring that in, touching paddle. Very good. Now, what do we want when it touches paddle? We want it to spin up the paddle, right? So to make a ball to spin or make any object to spin, you need your turn block. So it's going to spin clockwise by 15 degrees, something like that. And good. So when it spins, it's going to go in a different direction, right? It's going to go in a different direction. Very good. Now, of course, we do not want it to go down to the color because when it touches the color, it should impact the game. So we can just bring that there. If touching color, all right. Now, what color should it touch? The pink. So we just click our color picker and pick the color here. Very good. So we have that color. So if touching color, what should happen? It should change live, right? Like we said. So to do that, we have to create a variable called live. Now that variable is going to hold the value of the lives at every particular point. So for this sprite only, good. So we have that. So we want to change lives. Of course, we are changing lives. So we change lives by -1 to make it reduce by 1 every time it touches color, meaning our job is to make sure it doesn't touch the color. Very good. Now, also, with the edge, we want it to bounce off. So we can use that control tool and say if touching edge, so that's in sensing, and we're going to get touching edge here. You see, you can change it to edge. Very good. So we bring that in here. Good. So if touching edge, what should happen? We want it to also bounce off. Now we don't want it to just bounce off randomly. We don't want it to bounce off at a specific angle. We want it to bounce off randomly. So if touching edge is going to turn. Good. Now it's going to turn in a random position. So we are going to pick random. Now, what's random? So we're going to look at from 15 degrees to 90. So between 15 degrees to 90. So the player has to be at alert there. Now, how does our game work? All right, so we have that here. Ooh, you have to go there, catch it. Oh, we couldn't catch it. But that's what you have, right? That's what you have. Now, we are also going to see here that every time it touches the color is also an edge, so it bounces off too. So we don't want that. So what can we do here? We can just do the same thing we did when we began the game. So I'll just come here and duplicate it. Good. Return it and put it back there. Now every time it touches the color, it's going to come back to the beginning. So that's what we need. So you change light by -1 and go back to the beginning. Very good. So that's what we have there. You can see it goes back to the beginning. But of course, the life has reduced. Now, we don't want the life to get to, we can see -1000. We don't want that. So we are going to go to event and say when green flag is clicked, the lives should be set to a particular point. So we're going to set lives to 3. Now, we also worried about the scores too, right? So we need to create a variable called scores. For this sprite only. And we're going to set our scores to 0, right? Now, of course, you can change this to scores. Good. So when green flag is clicked, that's what happens, right? Now, how are we doing here? It's getting better, right? All right. So we want to also make sure Scratch knows that when life is 0, everything is going to end. So we're just going to say if the lives is equal to 0, get that in operators. Go to variables. If life is equal to 0, what do we want to happen? We want to stop all. So that's in control. We get our stop all here. We put that in. All right. So our game is making a lot of sense now. So that what you could want to increase the speed, so we can just make our ball go faster. 20 steps, right? It makes it faster. Good. So every time, and the idea is, it's always, but we can see that it's not stopping all, actually, right? It's actually not stopping all when life is equal to 0, and that's because it's like it's went past 0 so hard, so that's why that happened, right? And also we didn't program it. Okay, now it works well. It works well. Okay, so we have a game. Of course, we're going to want to make it to have levels, right? So in our next video, we are going to make our Pong game to have levels, so that as it gets to a particular point, it's just going to get faster, right? And that will work. Of course, you can increase the speed of your paddle by saying maybe -20, right? So there you have it. I hope you've been able to learn something here, and I'm going to see you in our next video. Take care.